Zhou Fight looked at the racial divine artifact on the Supreme God Realm monument. Then, he chose for a moment before finally choosing 4 of the race's divine artifacts. Race Divine Artifact. Creation Immortal Furnace. Top Race Divine Artifact. Human life forms sit cross-legged in the creation immortal furnace and are refined with the chi of creation. There is a high chance that they will sublimate the congenital spiritual root they have, allowing human life forms who already have the aptitude to cultivate immortality to have higher talent in cultivation. If this human life form doesn't have the spiritual root, he will definitely be able to create a congenital spiritual root that is most suitable for his physique, giving him the aptitude to cultivate immortality. Required military merits. 10 million military merits. 1 Supreme God Realm Mission Medal. Race Divine Artifact. 9-directional immeasurable flag. Top Race Divine Artifact. A universal race divine artifact. Place it in the territory of the race. It can strengthen the nomological talent of the 9 nomological laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness, wind, and lightning in the territory of the race. Increases the probability of life forms advancing to the Master God tier through these 9 nomological laws by 10%. Required military merits. 8 million military merits. 5 Supreme Mission Medals. Race Divine Artifact. 36 Holy Heart Demon Statues. Top Race Divine Artifact facing 36 Holy Heart Demon Statues can sharpen the will of life forms. The highest level of cultivation can nurture the will of life forms to the level of the will divine transformation realm. Required military merits. 6 million military merits. 6 Supreme Mission Medals. Racial Artifact. Fong of Perception. High-level racial artifact, a universal racial artifact. Placing it in the racial territory can increase the dark attribute immunity of creatures in the racial territory and reduce the dark attribute damage received by 20%. Military merit required for redemption. 2 million military merits. 5 Supreme Mission Medals. Zhou Fight looked at his military merits panel after they finished exchanging. He realized that he had already used up all his military merits. There were only 4.5 Supreme God Mission Medals left. He nodded in satisfaction. Awesome. Then, he looked at the 4 race divine artifacts. Among them, the Creation Immortal Furnace, the 9-directional infinite flag, and the 36 Sacred Heart Demon statues were all race divine artifacts that could increase the upper limit of the growth of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom subjects. Needless to say, he could exchange for this to AS for the Fong of Perception. It was a racial divine artifact that could increase the immunity of the subjects of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom to dark attributes. It was also what Zhou Fight needed. After exchanging, Zhou Fight opened the mission interface. He looked at these missions and was thinking about which mission to choose. He suddenly realized that there was an unread message on his personal terminal. He had been too focused on choosing the racial divine artifacts just now and had actually ignored this news. Zhou Fight shook his head and opened the message. 0. Your Majesty. Just 3 minutes and 35 seconds ago, the ultimate supreme god of the Lotus Flame War territories led an army of 10 billion to launch a sneak attack on the Blazing Sun Base 3 planet that we had just captured. However, under the protection of our soldiers and supreme god-level defense facilities, the other party did not break through the Blazing Sun free base planet. Then, the other party quickly retreated. Zhou Fight sneered. He was already prepared for such a situation. He had taken down the other party's entire territory after all. It would be strange if the other party did not react. However, he did not expect the other party to be so fast. Just as they left, they followed them. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The territory of the Lotus Flame War territories. Zhou Fight took out the map that the Lord of 10,000 Evils had given him and looked at it. He realized that the Lotus Flame War territories was a war territory that was connected to the Wanlong territory. Like the Wanlong territory, it was a Grade 3 Supreme God Realm War territory. He fell into deep thought when he saw this a Grade 3 war territory. He only needed to spend a little effort to take down the Wanlong territory. It was impossible for the ruler of the Lotus Flame War territories not to know this. But he still dared to. Come, There were only two possibilities for this situation. The first possibility was that the ruler of the Lotus Flame War territories had a trump card to deal with him and was confident that he could take him down. The second possibility was that behind this surprise attack, there was not only an enemy from the Lotus Flame War territories, but also enemies from other war territories hiding behind the Lotus Flame War territories. That was why the other party was so confident. You can't act rashly until you have concrete information. Zhou Fight sighed and suddenly muttered to himself with a smile. However, I have easy access to information. He flipped his right hand and saw Bodhi Supreme appear in his hand. Bodhi Supreme, why does the ruler of the Lotus Flame War territories dare to lead troops to attack my blazing sun base 3 planet? Zhou Fight asked. The person in charge of this Lotus Flame War territories is called the Lotus Flame God Lord. He is extremely belligerent and is never afraid of powerful enemies. Therefore, after hearing about you, he immediately wanted to challenge you. This way, he could even obtain the reward of the Void Emperor. However, this Lotus Flame God Lord also knows that you have many supreme gods under your command. He probably can't do anything to you with his military strength alone. Therefore, he specially contacted his good friend, the Fire Poison God Lord of the Fire Poison War territories in the southeast of the Lotus Flame War territories, to join forces to deal with you. That's probably what happened. Bodhi Supreme said lazily. Zhou Fight nodded to as he had expected. The Lotus Flame God Lord had come prepared. However, Zhou Fight was not afraid of him. The Son of Destiny was his greatest confidence. 0. If another enemy attacks, tell me immediately about the situation on the base planet. You can send troops to my place to support our base planet if you are in a hurry. Zhou Fight said. Yes, Your Grace. 0 said respectfully. Zhou Fight nodded. Then, in the mission list in front of him, he simply chose 4 missions and accepted them all. Conquer the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm War Territory, Lotus Flame, Main City. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Mission. Conquer the Lotus Flame, Main City, and the entire Lotus Flame War territories. Elimination Void, Great General. Inga, Grade 1 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Nika, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Elimination Void, Great General. Aki, Grade 2 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Bast, Grade 2 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Zur, Grade 3 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Cha, Grade 4 Supreme God. Reward, 15 million military merit points, 5 Supreme God level mission medals, and 1 Book of the Gods, Grade 4 Supreme God. Attack the Void Mystic Realm. Exclusive mission of the Lotus Flame War territories. Attack the 5 Void Mystic Realms of the Lotus Flame War territories. Reward, 12 million military merits, 10 Supreme God mission medals, and 1 Universal Race Divine Artifacts. Conquer the Grade 3 Supreme God Realm War Territory, Fire Poison City. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Mission. Conquer the Fire Poison City and the entire Fire Poison War Territory. Elimination Void, Great General. Abu, Grade 1 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Kawa, Grade 2 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Elkin, Grade 2 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. AIP, Grade 3 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Mayashir, Grade 3 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Aurelio, Grade 4 Supreme God. Elimination Void, Great General. Fire Poison, Grade 4 Supreme God. And be rewarded with 15 million military merit points, 5 Supreme God level mission medals, and 1 Book of the God Spirit, Grade 4 Supreme God Realm. Attack the Void Mystic Realm. Exclusive mission of the Fire Poison War Territory. Attack the 3 Void Mystic Realms of the Fire Poison War Territory. Reward, 10 million military merits, 10 Supreme God mission medals, and 1 Universal Race Divine Artifacts. Zhou Fight looked at the 4 missions he had accepted thoughtfully. Strength of the Lotus Flame War territories and the Fire Poison War territories was clearly much stronger than the Myriad Dragon War territories. However, he shook his head. They would deal with whatever came their way. The other party had already set their target on him. No matter how strong the other party was, he could just fight normally. There was no need to think too much. Then, he thought for a moment and told Lord of 10,000 Evils about the invasion of him by the two ultimate void races, Lotus Flame and Fire Poison. The other party was his ally now after all. Exchange of information on war was the most basic duty. After Lord of 10,000 Evils received this news, he did not dare to be negligent and immediately invited Zhou Fight over to discuss how to deal with the attack of the two ultimate void races. At the same time, in the reincarnation sacred palace of the blazing sun divine capital, Zhou was sitting cross-legged on the Tao comprehension futon and cultivating. A rainbow-colored water droplet floated between his hands. It was the treasure that the Supreme Will had previously rewarded him with, the source of will. At this moment, the source of will had already been mostly exhausted by Zhou Zhou's cultivation. After another hour or so, this drop of will source was completely exhausted. Just as the source of his will was exhausted, boom. A substantial wave of will instantly erupted from Zhou Zhou's body and radiated in all directions. In the blink of an eye, this will fluctuation enveloped the entire blazing sun divine world. This will wave stopped after being blocked by the crystal wall of the divine world. A moment later, the will wave gradually dissipated. Zhou Zhou slowly opened his eyes. Then, he sensed his current level of willpower and a smile appeared on his face. Intermediate stage will divine transformation realm. He muttered as his eyes lit up. Under normal circumstances, even those genius supreme gods would take millions, or even tens of millions of years to advance from beginner stage of the will divine transformation realm to intermediate stage of the will divine transformation realm, and he actually completed this process in less than a few days with the help of this source of will. It was simply a miracle. This source of will is simply a supreme treasure to increase the level of will. It's a pity there's only one drop. Zhou Zhou shook his head regretfully. If he had enough willpower sources, he could completely advance to the limit of the will divine transformation realm without any obstruction. That would save a lot of time. As for breaking through to the supreme will realm at the will divine transformation realm, it was not something that could be resolved with a simple source of will. Zhou Zhou did not know how to advance to the supreme will level. However, he was in no hurry. He was still too far away from the level of supreme will. As a reserve army of the Supreme Lord, he would naturally know what he needed to know when he reached that level. If there was really no other way, he could just ask the Supreme Will. Then, he looked at his personal terminal and realized that there was only one war report. Zhou Zhou opened it and looked over. Under the joint efforts of the two armies of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom had eliminated a total of 210 beginner-level Divine Kingdom Lord factions, 121 intermediate-grade Divine Kingdom Lord factions, 88 high-level Divine Kingdom Lord factions, and 22 Overlord-level Lord factions. In addition, on the ultimate Void battlefield, Zhou Fight and Lord of 10,000 Evils had eliminated the enemies in the three Void Mystic realms. They had eliminated more than 500 people of foreign races in the capital units, more than 50 billion god spirits, more than 300 million true god tiers, more than 30,000 master god tiers of the people of foreign races, and 22 ultimate void supreme gods. After collating the statistics, the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom had obtained a total of 5.8 million mist cores of various levels, origin crystals, skill books, equipment, and basic materials from the capital units today. 3, 912, 239, 823, 923, 341 green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 2,315,341 legendary tier and below Lord Talent Spheres, a large number of Lord Talent Crystal Fragments of other levels. There were also 612 capital units, 2,917,384,750 million units of divine crystals from low-tier deity level to high-tier deity level, 134, 198, 432, 01 true god-tier divine crystals, 91.2 billion 89.21 million Master God Tier Divine Crystals, 10,344,892 Grade 1 to Grade 3 Supreme God Divine Crystals, 1 Capital Units, 1, 983, 234, 312, 89 million Low Tier to High Tier Deity Level Divine Artifacts, 3, 423, 94 million True God Tier Divine Artifacts, 2,341,298 Master God Tier Divine Artifacts, 23,482 Supreme God Divine Artifacts. There were a total of about 1 Capital Unit, 113, for 92, 34 million Divine Spark Fragments, God Tier Herbs, God Tier Ingredients, God Tier Ores, God Tier Blueprints, and other treasures. 521,492,382,138 Master God Tier Herbs, God Tier Ingredients, God Tier Ores, God Tier Blueprints, and other treasures. 1,042,110 Supreme God Level God Tier Herbs, God Tier Ingredients, God Tier Ores, God Tier Blueprints, and other treasures. In terms of insight defection, Zhou Fight had induced a total of 10,734,336,108 God Spirits, 520,342,340 True Gods, 15,123 Master Gods, and 2 Supreme Gods through the Sun of Destiny in the Sky Void Mystic Realm. In addition, the Lords of the Star Alliance had also instigated 129 Capital Unit soldiers, more than 412 million God Spirits, more than 100,000 True Gods, and 77 Master Gods. In the end, in terms of the advancement of God Spirits, a total of 12,123,487,843 Legendary Tier Advanced Grade Soldiers had advanced to Low-Tier Deity Level Elementary Grade God Spirit. There were also 219,873 High-Tier Deity Level Advanced Grade God Spirits who had advanced to True God Tier Elementary Grade God Spirits. Another 341 top-notch True Gods of the human race and 401 top-notch True Gods of the people of foreign races felt their Master God Tier bottleneck and applied to enter the Reincarnation Sacred Palace to cultivate in seclusion to try to break through to the Master God Tier realm. Under normal circumstances, he would officially break through tomorrow. Zhou Zhou's original military strength was 1,914 capital units, 721,348,323,488,253 soldiers, 31,723,973,942 God spirits, 235,215,256 true gods, 10,057 master gods, and 8 supreme gods. Now, with the addition of these divine spirit experts who had instigated insight defection, the military strength under him had reached 2,043 capital units, 721,341,663,488,253 soldiers, 42,870,310,500 god spirits, 755,657,596 true gods, 25,257 master gods, and 10 supreme gods. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. The number of soldiers under him had officially broken through to 2,000 capital units. The number of god spirits had reached 4 million. There were 700 million true gods. There were also more than 20,000 master gods. The number of supreme gods had officially reached 10. This kind of military strength was completely not inferior to Lord of 10,000 Evils. It might have even exceeded his strength. Zhou Zhou closed the battle report and disappeared with a thought. Zhou Zhou's figure slowly appeared in the sky above the blazing sun divine kingdom. He looked at the blazing sun divine capital below and silently chanted the advancement in his heart. In the next second, as 800 Gai units of basic materials, 1,000 master god tier elementary grade divine crystals, 10 capital units origin crystals, 500 chaos divine treasures, and 3 ultimate void crystals disappeared instantly. A text notification appeared. Congratulations! Your true God tier, Lord's Law, has successfully advanced to the Master God tier elementary grade Godly Kingdom, Lord's Law. Your territory has successfully upgraded to a Master God tier elementary grade territory. Your true God tier advanced grade, all methods. Origin array has been upgraded to Master God tier. Elementary grade mixed essence 1 heart array. Durability of territory stone steel increased to 10 capital units / 10 capital units. Your territory has expanded to 1 trillion km times 1 trillion km times 20 million km. All fog monsters within the territory of the new territory have been expelled. Scarlet fog will not appear in any of your territories. You have received an upgrade reward. Mythical tier building blueprint treasure chest, elementary grade of Master God tier. Lord Talent notification. Your Scarlet Broodmother can be upgraded. Lord Talent hint. Your mysterious caravan faction has increased. Lord Talent notification. The strength of the clergy of your life arc has increased. In the next second, an even more dignified and loud voice sounded. Lord of all race announcement 1. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, advanced. Blazing Sun God Lord for becoming the first Lord to upgrade his territory to Master God tier elementary grade. Reward. Supreme Treasure Chest +1. Mythical Reputation Rating +1000. Reputation Rating +1,000,000. Unique Title of the Race. Glory of the Pioneer 12 has advanced to Glory of the Pioneer 13. All Race Lord announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, High Level, God Lord Blazing Sun. All Race Lord announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, High Level, God Lord Blazing Sun. Lord of all race announcement 2. Ever since the Blazing Sun God Lord has established a new territory for the Lord, the territories of all the Lords can be upgraded to the Master God tier advanced grade. The Lords can be upgraded by checking the information of the territory. Lord of all race announcement 3. In order to congratulate Blazing Sun God Lord on creating a new chapter for the Lords of all races, you are specially rewarded with 1 Premier Heart, 3 Supreme Hearts. The authority of the Supreme Lord Reserve Army had increased. This voice resounded throughout the myriad worlds. All the life forms in the myriad worlds, even those non-living substances, had vaguely remembered this sentence. When they became life forms one day, this sentence would appear in their hearts again. The living beings who heard this looked at the sky in shock, as if they had heard something unbelievable. Your Excellency, the great common people's regal again. A Master God tier territory has actually been established on the territory of a true God tier advanced grade. There's actually a Master God tier kingdom above the Divine Kingdom Lords. All of this was brought about by Your Excellency Common People's Regal. Common People's Regal? It's unbelievable. He is clearly the newly promoted 4th Reserve. Now, he has actually become the pioneer of Master God tier territories and Master God tier kingdoms. This is something that even the 3 Lords couldn't do. The Common People's Regal has the potential of a Supreme Lord. Isn't it just establishing a Master God tier territory and a Master God tier kingdom? What's there to talk about? Your Excellency God King Heaven Punishment fought with the Supreme Will and the Illusionist clan day and night. What contributions does the Common People's Regal have? Previous poster, it's so sour. Previous poster, why don't you say how long has it been since Common People's Regal became a Supreme Lord Reserve Army? The living beings in the myriad worlds were discussing the fact that there were Master God tier territories and Master God kingdoms above the territories of true God tier advanced grades to ordinary life forms. This matter did not have much to do with them. However, to Lords, especially the Lords of the Divine Kingdoms, this matter had a huge impact after they learned of this news. They almost immediately began to look up the requirements to advance to the Master God tier territory and the Master God tier kingdom. Then, they were dumbfounded. Chaotic Secret Realm? What is this? There's a Chaos Divine Treasure in the Void Mystic Realm? Are you kidding me? Do you think you can enter that danger zone so easily? Even if a Supreme God enters, he might not be able to leave alive. The requirements for advancement are too high. If I don't advance, I won't advance. I suddenly feel that it's not bad to be the master of a divine kingdom. The rulers of the various divine kingdoms had their own thoughts about advancing to the master god-tier territory and the master god-tier kingdom. Some god lords wanted to climb to the peak and take another step forward. There were also god lords who wanted to pursue stability and protect their own land. More god lords were worried about the future once the master god-tier territory and the master god-tier kingdom appeared. There would definitely be a new bloodbath between the top divine kingdoms in the future at the same time. In the river of time, a white-robed life form was fishing on a lone boat. The surroundings of him were filled with surging and beautiful waves that was not an ordinary wave, but a space-time wave formed by the turbulent collision of the river of time. Even a will-level existence would not dare to rashly step into the dangers within. However, this white-robed life form did not seem to realize the danger. It closed its eyes and fished leisurely, as if it was on a calm SEAT this moment. His fishing line trembled slightly. The white-robed life form suddenly opened its eyes. With a light flick, the fishing rod leaped up and landed in front of the white-robed life form with the treasure on the hook. The white-robed life form looked at the golden, pancake-shaped treasure that was emitting a level 2 supreme god artifact in front of him. He shook his head and casually threw it into the fish basket beside him. Just as he was about to fish again, his expression changed slightly before he laughed. He actually created a Lord faction level above the Divine Kingdom Lord faction. This little guy is really going to be recorded in the epic tier of the heavens. I never expected a small epic tier Lord talent owner to reach this stage. When I first awakened my Lord talent, I awakened the mythical tier 1 and only Lord talent. However, in terms of achievements at the same time, I'm afraid I can't compare to this common people's regal Lord Supreme Will's Lord of all races. Contest is really effective, but I played a big part in it. I caught this fish myself after all. The white-robed life form laughed. After laughing, he swung his rod leisurely again and caught fish countless times. In the land of dusk, the setting sun was like blood. The two armies were fighting each other in the land of dusk. One of the armies looked strange, but their appearance had two obvious main characteristics. That was, his appearance was either very scary or extremely dignified. There would always be one characteristic that was so terrifying that if ordinary life forms saw it, they would probably immediately become the other party's shadow for the rest of their lives. If ordinary life forms saw him, they would remember him for the rest of their lives. They were the illusionist clan. As for the faction army that was fighting him, their bodies were made of lightning. They wore lightning armor, held lightning spears in their hands, and carried lightning arrows on their backs. With a wave of their hands, thousands of lightning bolts were born. Purple firmament, divine lightning. Deuteon, divine lightning. 5 elements, divine lightning. Annihilation, divine lightning. Crimson firmament, demon lightning. Chaos origin lightning. All kinds of lightning even formed various supreme lightning soldier types. Wherever they passed, the illusionist clan couldn't resist the attack of the god of thunder army at all. They died one batch after another. It was the heavenly punishment army of the Supreme Lord's first reserve army, God King Heaven Punishment. However, even though the soldiers of the heavenly punishment army were brave, the illusionist clan seemed endless. After a batch of them died, more illusionist clan would emerge from the void and join the battlefield. This also led to the overall situation of the battle not being alleviated, even though the Thunder God army was clearly looking down on them on the battlefield. In fact, it was becoming more and more anxious. The anxious situation on the battlefield and the increasing number of enemies of the illusionist clan did not make the God King Heaven Punishment and the Heavenly Punishment Army lose their sense of propriety. They were like cold and emotionless war machines, killing the illusionist clan's army in front of them mercilessly and regularly, as if they would never tired. In the army of the illusionist clan, a burly god spirit in scarlet lightning armor, holding a heavenly punishment holy spear and a world-destroying lightning crown, was waving the heavenly punishment holy spear unscrupulously and pouring the heavenly punishment holy lightning in his body to kill the surrounding illusionary army. The surrounding illusionist clan had long been enraged by the other party's arrogant actions. Therefore, they sent a large number of experts of the illusionist clan to besiege God King Heaven Punishment. However, no matter how many experts the illusionist clan sent and how many trump cards they used to deal with God King Heaven Punishment, God King Heaven Punishment could easily kill the enemies and destroy their trump cards. He acted recklessly. He was tyrannical. He was powerless. He was the center of the entire battlefield, an existence that all the god spirits paid attention to. The illusionist clan could do nothing but watch helplessly as the enemy slaughtered their army. Even though the illusionist clan was not afraid of death, they had to pay a certain price to be resurrected. If this went on, the price the illusionist clan would have to pay would be terrifying. At this moment, the god King Heaven Punishment was stunned. As he casually sent the oncoming enemy flying. He smiled in surprise. That fourth brother of mine actually created a master god tier territory and a master god tier kingdom? Ha ha ha, good, good. This is what we Supreme Lord Reserve Army should be like. I hope that he can come to the land of dusk as soon as possible. It's really boring with only me and the Supreme Army in the land of dusk. God King Heaven Punishment was very happy. The heavenly punishment, holy lightning in the sky, moved in response. More than 10 supreme gods were struck to death by the holy lightning, accompanied by his emotional fluctuations. Among them, there was even a grade 4 supreme god. Sir, why are you so happy? That common people's regal is your competitor. The person who told God King Heaven Punishment this news was very surprised when he heard God King Heaven Punishment's words. So what if he's a competitor? Isn't it just the position of the Supreme Lord? If he really has the ability, what's the harm in giving the position to him? The God King Heaven Punishment replied casually as he faced the enemy. Then, his expression suddenly turned firm. My highest goal has always been to transcend. Competing for the position of Supreme Lord is just my way of transcending. If there's another way to make it easier for me to transcend, I will abandon my so-called status as the Supreme Lord Reserve Army without hesitation and use that method. Ha ha ha. Compared to transcendence, what's the so-called Supreme Lord position? He laughed out loud. Sir, aren't you afraid that the Supreme will know what you're saying? His subordinate asked in fear. I've followed the Supreme will for so many years. Do you think the Supreme will doesn't understand what I'm thinking? The God King Heaven Punishment asked. His subordinates fell silent. At the same time, Zhou Zhou looked at the announcement before him and was naturally very satisfied and happy. He was now considered an expert who had created a new history in the myriad worlds. Unlike before, in the eyes of other god spirits, he was just a rising star who had suddenly risen. There was a huge difference between the two. Then, he looked at the reward in the announcement. The first was the new title rewarded. Title: Glory of the Pioneer 13. Title quality: Unique title of the race. Title effect 1. You are famous among the Cerulean planet lords. More people admire your reputation and yearn to join your territory. The number of subjects you can summon through the gate of summoning every day plus 1,200%. Professional talents of the same level as the territory among the subjects summoned plus 13. Title effect 2. Same as before. Title effect 3. When you become the first myriad realm lords with a grade 1 supreme god territory. This title will be upgraded to Glory of the Pioneer 14 and unlock more title effects. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction after reading it. However, the number of subjects he could summon had increased by 13 times. In addition, among the subjects summoned, there were 14 professional talents of the same level as the territory, which meant he could summon 14 Master God Tier Elementary Grade God Spirits tomorrow morning. That a Master God Tier existence was a clan protecting expert. Now, he could summon 14 of them every day. That if all the races in the world heard this, especially those races that did not even have a Master God, wouldn't they be envious to death? Even though to the current Zhou Zhou, a Lord God was not considered a rare expert, who wouldn't be happy to freeload. Then, his gaze landed on title effect 3. A look of surprise appeared in his eyes as he muttered, there's actually a supreme territory above the Master God Tier territory? Then after upgrading to a grade 1 supreme god territory, wouldn't I be able to summon 15 supreme gods every day? Tisk. Zhou Zhou gasped at the thought of this. That was summoning 15 supreme god-tier powerhouses every day? There were only about 10,000 supreme divine-level experts in the entire supreme great cosmos that in other words. He only needed to summon for less than 3 years, and he would have more supreme god experts than the entire supreme great cosmos combined. What if it was upgraded to a supreme will territory? Didn't that mean that he could summon a supreme will-level existence? Zhou Zhou shuddered. Good God, that shouldn't be possible, right? How many supreme will-level existences were there in the entire supreme great cosmos? If he could really summon supreme will-level existences as his subjects every day in less than 3 to 4 days, the supreme will-level existences under his command might even be much stronger than supreme wills. How could that be possible? Zhou Zhou hurriedly shook his head and abandoned this thought. Then, he looked at the supreme treasure chest. Zhou Zhou directly ignored the reputation rating and mythical reputation rating for Zhou Zhou since he was a reserve army of the Supreme Lord. He opened the supreme treasure chest that a model of a mountain was quietly placed inside. Even though this mountain was only a model, with a rough look, one could feel its towering, majestic, and dangerous aura. It was beautiful upon closer inspection, like the legendary supreme immortal mountain, giving people endless imagination. Zhou Fight looked at it for a second before a text notification appeared. Wonder name: Jade Capital Immortal Mountain. Wonder grade: Grade 4 Supreme God Level Wonder. Spectacular effect: Jade Capital Immortal God. Offer 10. Low-tier deity level elementary grade divine crystals to Jade Capital Immortal Mountain to summon a Class 2 Advanced Soldier, Heavenly Soldier, with a 10% chance of summoning a Class 3 Advanced Soldier, Heavenly General, and a 0.01% chance of summoning a Class 4 Advanced Soldier, Heavenly Lord. The number of summons depends on the territory level. Current territory level: low-tier deity level elementary grade. Current upper limit of summoning Jade Capital Heavenly Soldiers: 0 out of 100. Wonder evaluation: White Jade City in the sky. 12th floor, 5 cities. Immortals caress my head, tie my hair, and receive eternal life. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. This was actually a wonder, and its wonder effect was actually to summon supreme soldier types. He began to think, what a spectacle. Ever since Zhou Zhou started fighting the myriad races, he had obtained a lot of such things from them, especially after conquering the original spirit race, the shepherd's god race, and the chaos god's race. The total number of wonders these 3 races had reached more than 10,000. It looks like a lot, but there weren't many of them. They were the 3 top bloodline races under countless subsidiary races after all. The 3 of them combined only had tens of thousands of wonders. It could be seen how rare wonders were. However, even though Zhou Zhou had grasped many wonders, he didn't care much after knowing the effects of those wonders. Most of them were equivalent to extraordinary tier and other epic tier lord talents. The current him. The mythical tier lord talent was only worthy of his attention. Only the supreme unique lord talent was worthy of his attention. The wonder effect of this Jade Capital Immortal Mountain was definitely comparable to a supreme unique lord talent. He took a closer look at this wonder effect and then muttered to himself. It can summon Class 2 Supreme Soldier type, Heavenly Soldier, Class 3 Supreme Soldier type, Heavenly General, and Class 4 Supreme Soldier type, Heavenly Lord. The number of summons is currently 100 capital units. It can increase the upper limit of the number of summons as the territory level increases. As for the summoning price, it's an astonishing 10 low-tier deity level elementary grade divine crystals. This summoning is so inexpensive. In terms of overall evaluation, it's not bad. It's not a good reward. At least for me, it's not a good reward. Zhou Zhou pondered. He currently had 2 supreme soldier types, the Supreme God Realm Soldier and the Supreme Holy Mage God. As top-notch soldiers, they were all Class 4 Supreme Soldier types. Furthermore, he could harvest 800 Supreme God Realm Soldiers and new recruits from the capital units and the Supreme Holy Mage God every day through the Scarlet Broodmother. Under such circumstances, the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain, which was considered extremely precious to Lord of 10,000 Evils, could only be said to be alright to Zhou Zhou. Then, he didn't think too much about it and flew out of the reincarnation sacred palace. With the model of the Jade, capital immortal mountain, he glanced at the territory of the blazing sun divine capital, and now, the blazing sun divine capital's capital occupied an area. After the territory upgraded, it shockingly increased to the terrifying level of 10 grains. There were many empty spaces now, so there were many places where Mount Yujing could be placed. Zhou Zhou thought for a few seconds and suddenly reacted. He immediately sent his spiritual will into the model of Jade Capital Immortal Mountain in his hand. Soon, he retracted his divine sense and shook his head that it turned out that Jade Capital Immortal Mountain did not need to be placed in the real world as a class 4 supreme god-level wonder. After the owner placed it in a position, it would naturally open up a boundless universe exclusive to it and let it stay there. If that's the case, put it in the southeast corner of the blazing sun divine capital. Zhou Fight picked a spot with few people and threw it over. As soon as the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain left his hand, it turned into a white light and fused into the space. Then, it opened a world in the space. In just a short while, a boundless universe was opened up. After the boundless universe was established, the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain, which was originally just a model, began to grow rapidly. In less than a moment, the size of the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain had reached an extremely terrifying level. The area alone was more than a square kilometer, and the height was measured in light years. He lay across the boundless universe that he had created. It was surrounded by many middle worlds and small worlds. It was like the ancestor of the heavens, but also like a supreme pillar. Zhou Zhou looked at the majestic divine mountain and could not help but exclaim inwardly. However, he had not forgotten his goal. He flipped his right hand and saw a world ring appear in his hand. In the world ring, there were densely packed low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals. The total number had already reached the level of 1,000. Low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals in the capital units. This was undoubtedly an astonishing amount of wealth. Even Zhou Zhou could not help but feel his heart ache when he saw the ring filled with divine crystals in his hand. This is me. The daily gains from the war far exceed 1,000 low-tier deity-level elementary grades in the capital units. If it were any other supreme god-level faction, even Lord of 10,000 Evils probably wouldn't easily make up his mind to exchange 1,000 divine crystals for 100 supreme soldiers from the capital units, right? He might not be able to change every day even if he had the courage to change. Zhou Zhou shook his head. Fortunately, he had enough divine crystals. Then, he threw the world rings towards the distant Jade Capital Immortal Mountain. A minute after the world rings fell into the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain, the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain suddenly lit up with a faint golden light. Then, the golden light became brighter and brighter. In less than a moment, the golden light that lit up the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain was so bright that even Master God Tier could not open their eyes. Zhou Zhou did not use the king to increase his strength, but he had an extremely powerful constitution that was infinitely close to the grade 1 supreme sacred body. Therefore, he could narrow his eyes and see the golden light clearly. Right at that moment, streams of light flew out of the Jade Capital Immortal Mountain. They flew in front of him like meteors that filled the sky and reorganized the army formation in the blink of an eye. There were as many as 100 capital units. It was also divided into 3 parts according to the level of the soldier type. The last one was a Class 2 Supreme Soldier type, Heavenly Soldier. They wore the Great Sun Helmet and the Golden Crow Armor. They held the glorious Gold Divine Spear and carried the Divine Arrow of E on their backs. There were 90 capital units. In the middle was a Class 3 Supreme Soldier type, Heavenly General. They wore 5-element helmets, Yin-Yang General Armor, dragon-slaying divine swords at their waists, and sunset divine bows on their backs. There were nearly 10 capital units. At the front was a Class 4 Supreme Soldier type, Heavenly Venerate. Heavenly Sovereigns did not have a fixed uniform unlike Heavenly Soldiers and Heavenly Generals. Some of them wore old hibiscus hats and held tattered cattail fans. They wore common clothes and looked like wandering monks. However, when they walked, they were protected by the solemn and sacred dragon subduing treasure light. Some were handsome children with male and female appearances, but they carried flaming divine spears on their backs. They were surrounded by red ribbons and stood on firestorm wheels. Their black eyes were cold and heartless. Some wore golden armor and had wings on their backs. They held two halberds and were surrounded by lightning and fire. Their sharp auras made people not dare to look at them directly. They each had their own clothes. Even though they looked irregular, one could tell at a glance that the image of a powerhouse and their innate noble temperament were things that heavenly venerate and heavenly generals did not have. All kinds of heavenly venerate were very eye-catching. They had the least number, but they also had a total of 1 capital units. Greetings, Your Majesty. The heavenly soldiers, heavenly generals, and heavenly venerates said respectfully in unison. Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. Then, he looked at them and suddenly had an idea. He called over a supreme god realm soldier and a supreme holy mage god. Then, he casually chose 2 heavenly venerates from the heavenly venerates and let them fight against the supreme god realm soldier and the supreme holy mage god separately. The results surprised Zhou Zhou. This was because even though the supreme god realm soldiers, the supreme holy mage god, and the heavenly venerate were both class 4 supreme soldier types, when they fought one-on-one, the heavenly venerate actually won the supreme god realm soldier and the supreme holy mage god in a 1v1. When the supreme god realm soldier and the supreme holy mage god joined forces to deal with the 2 heavenly venerates, it could be seen that they had salvaged a slight disadvantage in the battle. However, this disadvantage was not enough for them to win. In the end, they were still defeated by the 2 heavenly venerates. Zhou Zhou thought for a few seconds and carried out a few more experiments and got a result on AS top-notch soldier types. The heavenly venerates were better at fighting alone. Not in groups. Of course, this place was not good at group battles. It was only relative to other class 4 supreme soldier types. For supreme soldiers below class 3, after they joined forces, they could still easily defeat them. In terms of group battles, especially when the number of troops on both sides reached 100 capital units. 50 capital units, supreme god realm soldiers, and 50 capital units, supreme holy mage gods could easily defeat 100 capital units. Heavenly venerates on the battlefield. The heavenly venerates had no room to fight back at all. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly after understanding this. In that case, the heavenly venerates were not inferior to the supreme god realm soldiers and the supreme holy mage god at all. Then, he returned to the reincarnation sacred palace and began to check the supreme hearts and supreme hearts awarded by the supreme will. First was the premier heart. The premier heart was a pure white one-eyed seal with its eyes closed. It emitted a faint white light and an invisible and dignified aura, causing Zhou Fight to be secretly shocked. What is this treasure? Why does this aura resemble the supreme will? Premier heart. Could it be related to the supreme will? Many guesses instantly surfaced in his mind. Then, he looked at the specific information of the premier heart, but when he saw this, he was immediately shocked. Treasure name: premier heart, treasure grade, supreme will level, treasure effect. After absorbing it, the strength and level of the absorbers will slowly increase with time. The highest level can be increased to the limit of the will divine transformation realm. Moreover, when the absorber advances from the will divine transformation realm to the supreme will level, the probability of the absorber advancing to the supreme will increase by 10%. Treasure description: a supreme treasure refined by the supreme will from many supreme will level treasures to increase the power of the will and level. Even in the hands of the supreme will, it is quite rare. It is a sacred artifact that countless supreme gods can only hope for. Zhou Zhou was stunned. This was actually another treasure that could increase the level of his will, and it was even more precious than the last time. The source of his will rewarded by the supreme will last time could at most raise his will to the mid-stage will divine transformation realm. The supreme heart this time could actually increase the power of his will to the limit of the will divine transformation realm. It could even increase the probability of successfully advancing from the will divine transformation realm to the supreme will by 10% in the future. This premier heart is simply a supreme treasure. Even the supreme will would be envious, right? Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Which supreme will did not want to personally nurture another subordinate at the level of supreme? Well, after all. Oh boy. Zhou Zhou sighed and placed it on his chest without hesitation. The next second, the premier heart suddenly emitted a resplendent white light. After the light dissipated, it had already fused into Zhou Zhou's will, turning into wisps of pure willpower that increased the strength and level of his willpower. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes and sensed for a while. Then he slowly opened his eyes and said happily, "This is the premier heart. It's amazing." Only the god spirits who had fused with the premier heart understood how shocking the effect of the premier heart on the increase in willpower was. It could be said that Zhou Zhou could complete the journey that other god spirits needed countless years to complete in a short period of time with it as expected of a treasure that could make countless supreme gods go crazy. He was a master, god-tier advanced grade god spirit who could use such a treasure. If word got out, the other supreme gods would probably want to kill him. He smiled and looked at the supreme hearts as a grade 1 supreme god treasure. The effect of the supreme hearts was similar to the premier heart. However, the supreme hearts could at most raise the level of will to the limit of will-like light. After that, it could help the will-like light god spirit advance to the will divine transformation realm. But it could only increase the success rate by 10%. Zhou threw it into the military merit exchange system after reading that. He believed that many of the generals under he would be interested in it. Then, he looked at the last reward. The reserve army of the Supreme Lord has increased. What did this mean? Zhou Zhou did not understand the specific meaning of this sentence. The next second, a text notification appeared. Supreme will notification. The increase in the reserve weight of the Supreme Lord can increase your ranking. If your weight increases to a certain extent, you can surpass the Lord of 10,000 evils and become the third reserve army of the Supreme Lord. If you surpass the Spring-Autumn Dharma Lord and the God King Heaven Punishment, you can become the first reserve of the Supreme Lord. If your weight far exceeds the other 3 Supreme Lord reserve armies, I can directly promote you to the Supreme Lord. Zhou Zhou came to a realization that it turned out that weight had such a meaning. Other than increasing the chances of becoming a Supreme Lord, are there any other benefits to this weight? Zhou Zhou asked again. Supreme will notification. I will send one to God King Heaven Punishment every once in a while. Zhou Zhou, I'm so envious. So this is the authority of the Supreme Lord's First Reserve Army? Zhou Zhou's heart burned. He had to increase the authority of his Supreme Lord Reserve Army. Supreme will notification. You will be the third reserve army of the Supreme. Well, after you resolve the problem of the ultimate void battlefield, I will prepare a rank advancement gift for you. I hope you won't disappoint me. Okay. Zhou Zhou nodded seriously. Raising my ranking is really a tempting goal, Zhou Zhou thought. Then, he shook his head and stopped thinking about it. He opened the territory interface and checked the requirements for the territory to be upgraded to the Master God Tier Intermediate Grade territory. Construction upgrade. 500 Gai units of wood. 500 Gai units of thin sand. 500 Gai units of metal. 500 Gai units of stone. 5,000 divine crystals of Master God Tier Advanced Grade. 50 capital units Origin crystals. 1,000 Chaos Divine Treasures. 10 Advanced Divine Kingdoms. 50 Master God Tier Intermediate Grade. Intermediate Grade God Spirits. 50 million Racial Heroes. Zhou Zhou's gaze swept over and finally landed on the 1,000 units of Chaos Divine Treasure. The corners of his mouth twitched, and he could still satisfy the other conditions. Only, with the Chaos Divine Treasures request, did he only have 70 units left after upgrading his territory. In other words, he still needed a total of 930 Chaos Divine Treasures to upgrade his territory to the Master God Tier Intermediate Grade. 930 units of Chaos Divine Treasure. This is only the territory that has advanced to the Master God Tier Intermediate Grade. How many Chaos Divine Treasures will it take to advance to an advanced grade, Master God Tier, or even a Supreme territory in the future? Will the future chaotic divine demon be killed by me? Who did the chaos god's race offend? Oh, it's a remnant of the chaos will era. Then it's fine. Zhou Zhou muttered in his heart. Fortunately, there was now an additional void mystic realm, which was also the source of a chaos divine treasure. Otherwise, he would probably be worried. Then, he opened the Lord channel and the battle channel of the myriad races and looked at their comments on him achieving the first Master God tier territory and the Master God tier kingdom. This had already become his habit. He nodded in satisfaction after watching Foray. Wow, bootlicking and then bragging about me. You're so bold talking online. So where's the talent you usually cursed in the channel? Apart from praising him, Zhou Zhou also noticed that some god spirits were complaining about the difficulty of establishing a master god tier territory. Zhou was even happier when he saw this. There was a sense of pleasure in it. Then, he saw some god spirits discussing the topic of the chaotic mystic realm. Chaotic secret realm? Zhou Zhou's attention was immediately attracted. He immediately opened the territory information interface and quickly found the notification information of the chaotic mystic realm. The chaotic mystic realm was actually a time ruins according to the notification on it. After the Lord found the time mystic realm, he could go to the past and come to the chaotic era, which was the most prosperous era for the chaotic divine demons to in the chaotic era in the time ruins. There were different numbers of chaotic divine demons. Lords could kill these chaotic divine demons and obtain chaotic divine treasures. However, there was a special hint here. There was a limited number of such time ruins in the supreme great cosmos, and there were quite a number of high-level divine kingdoms. Therefore, in order to prevent the time ruins from being monopolized by the most powerful lord of the divine kingdom, the Supreme will deliberately stipulated that the lord of the divine kingdom could only have one time ruins at the same time. If he forcefully plundered the time ruins of other chaotic divine demons, he would be stripped of his status as a lord. This punishment was very serious, in any case. Zhou Zhou did not dare to plunder more time ruins after reading them. The time ruins. He began to think. He was familiar with this thing. His first powerful soldier type was the high-level soldier type of the elves obtained from the time ruins back then, by Yun's heroic inheritance. The blood fire arrow elf was also obtained from it. He also met Nadia there. I must obtain the chaotic divine demons' time ruins. However, according to these lords of the divine kingdom, the first difficulty in obtaining them is to find them. However, it wasn't too difficult for me. Zhou Zhou smiled then. He flipped his right hand and the Bodhi Supreme appeared in his hand. The Bodhi Supreme encyclopedia to the rescue again. What are you thinking? The Bodhi Supreme sensed something sensitively. Encyclopedia? No, Bodhi Supreme, I'm not thinking about anything. Zhou Zhou denied and asked, Bodhi Supreme, do you know where the nearest time ruin that can produce a chaos divine treasure is? An answer to an ordinary question. The Bodhi Supreme commented. Zhou Zhou nodded. This was not even a chance to answer an official question, so there was naturally no hesitation. The Bodhi Supreme did not say anything else. Then, an illusory star map appeared in front of Zhou. Zhou.it was the star map of the entire Supreme Great Cosmos.at, the edge of the Supreme Great Cosmos star. Chart was a dot emitting a faint white light. Zhou Zhou took a look and realized something. Isn't this the Chaos Sea? He asked in surprise. Then, he felt that it made sense for some reason. The time point was a time ruin of the Chaos era. There seemed to be a reason for it to appear in the Chaos Sea. The Bodhi Supreme also said calmly. Most of the time ruins appeared near the original site of the ruins back then. Even though the Chaos Sea is located at the edge of the Supreme Great Cosmos, this is the core territory of the chaotic universe in the era of the Chaos Will. A large number of chaotic divine demons once lived here. It's too normal for a time ruin from the chaotic era to appear here. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, he suddenly had an idea. Since the Chaos Sea was once the core territory of the chaotic universe back then, doesn't that mean that there will be other time ruins of the chaotic era appearing here? So what if I am? You can only have one time ruin of the chaotic era running at any one time. The Bodhi Supreme commented. You're right, but the Chaos Sea is my territory now. The other divine kingdoms would mainly want to come to the Chaos C to obtain the chaos divine treasures that can advance to the master god tier territory and the master god tier country as my territory. It shouldn't be a problem for me to collect a ticket fee from them, right? In addition, it won't be a problem for me to pay divine crystals and divine artifacts to buy chaos divine treasures from them when they appear from the chaos sea, right? The Supreme will only doesn't allow us to possess the ruins of multiple chaos eras, but it didn't say that it doesn't allow us to buy chaos divine treasures from the masters of other divine kingdoms. The Bodhi Supreme was speechless after a while. He said, I've just asked the Supreme well. You could certainly do that, but I'd like to remind you of two things. First, you can charge a ticket fee, but the ticket fee must be reasonable and not too expensive. Secondly, you can only exchange chaos divine treasures with each other and not forcefully buy or sell them. If you violate these 2 points, you will also touch the bottom line of the Supreme will. The Supreme will hopes that more Master God tier territories and Master God tier countries will appear after you. It will be bad not only for the Supreme will, but also for your future development if you prevent their development. Zhou Zhou had some guesses when he heard that, but he didn't say anything. He only nodded and smiled. Don't worry. I care about my reputation, too. Buying and selling by force to earn money that goes against my conscience. I'm not so despicable as a reserve army of the Supreme Lord. Bodhi Supreme did not say anything and agreed with Zhou Zhou. Having followed Zhou Zhou for so long, he naturally knew what kind of person he was. He knew that Zhou Zhou's words should not be fake. Then, Zhou Zhou put away the Bodhi Supreme and ordered someone to call Zheng Yuanqi over. The current Zheng Yuanqi had a high position in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. His strength had already been forcefully raised to the true God-tier level under the nurturing of the Divine Kingdom. He could have restored his youthful appearance. But after recovering for a period of time, he seemed to have thought of something and transformed himself back. He still looked like an old wise man, identical to when he first came to Blazing Sun City. Greetings, Your Majesty. Zheng Yuanqi chuckled. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then he told him about the admission fee and the purchase of the Chaos Divine Treasure from the Divine Kingdom Lords and asked him to do it. Personally, Zheng Yuanqi immediately realized the importance of this matter when he heard that. He had to do it personally. I understand, Zheng Yuanqi said solemnly. Then he smiled and said, I have some ideas. Say it, Zhou Zhou said. Zheng Yuanqi smiled and said, since Your Majesty has already decided to collect the entrance fee, why don't you do it all the way as a dragon? You'll also be responsible for collecting the travel fee to send them from the territory to the Chaos Sea. In any case, we have the Shadow World as a heaven transit station. We can travel to any place in the Supreme Great Cosmos for free. This will cost us nothing, but it will make us a lot of money. Zheng Yuanqi's eyes lit up to as the Prime Minister of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. He naturally knew how rich the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom was. That it could be said that the daily income of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom was enough to build several top-notch Divine Kingdom Lord factions. However, who would despise earning more money? Zhou Zhou also felt that this was a good idea. He had the supreme unique Lord talent, Lord of Holy Shadows. His status in the Shadow World was second only to the Will of Shadow. The warp gate in the Shadow World could be used for free at will. It could be said that he could go wherever he wanted. With such a huge advantage, it would be a waste of resources not to use it. Since we've decided to charge a pickup fee, let's make it bigger. Zhou Zhou smiled and said solemnly, Zheng Yuanqi, this emperor wants you to establish a heavenly mountain post in the myriad worlds. This emperor wants any life form in the heavenly mountain post to use our heavenly mountain post to travel to any world in the supreme great cosmos. In the process of establishing the heavenly stage station, if you find a world suitable for development or occupation, don't hesitate. Accept and cite surrender if you can and buy if you can. If the other party doesn't agree, just occupy it. Remember a principle. You can fight, but you can't kill life forms indiscriminately. They will be our citizens in time to come. Zhou Zhou's expression was very calm at the end. He was a lord. Conquering the myriad worlds was his duty. Yes, Your Grace. Zheng Yuanqi nodded seriously to the same time. His heart burned. He could sense that after the development plan of the heavenly stage station was implemented, the power of the blazing sun divine kingdom would definitely increase at an astonishing speed. More importantly, the hand of their blazing sun divine kingdom would extend to the entire myriad worlds through this heavenly post station. In the future, if they wanted to occupy the myriad worlds, this heavenly post would be the best springboard and the strongest intelligence network for them to attack the myriad worlds. The thought of this. Zheng Yuanqi admired His Majesty's foresight even more. His Majesty must have thought of this, which was why he said that in the process of establishing the heavenly stage station, if he found a world suitable for development or occupation, he had to control it. This was a setup for the future. After that, Zheng Yuanqi and Zhou Zhou chatted for a while before Zheng Yuanqi left. After Zheng Yuanqi left, Zhou Zhou teleported to the sky above the blazing sun divine kingdom again. Then, he opened the territory interface and took a look. After confirming that he had fulfilled all the requirements to advance to the Master God tier kingdom, he immediately chanted the advancement in his heart. The next second, a text notification appeared. Prompt: you have fulfilled all the conditions to advance to the beginner grade Master God tier kingdom. Do you want to advance the blazing sun divine kingdom to the beginner grade Master God tier kingdom? Advance. Zhou Zhou immediately said. Prompt: you have one chance to change the location of God capital. Do you want to change/not change? Not change. Zhou Zhou said. Prompt: your choice has been confirmed. Prompt: your Lord's territory, advanced divine kingdom. Blazing sun divine kingdom is advancing. Prompt: advancement successful. Congratulations, your high-level divine kingdom Lord territory, blazing sun divine kingdom. You have officially advanced to the beginner grade Master God territory, blazing sun divine kingdom. Prompt: you can show the level of your divine kingdom territory on any channel. Zhou Zhou smiled that he had finally leveled up. The next second, another announcement sounded in the ears of all the races in the world. Announcement of the 10,000 races. Congratulations to the Prideful Sun Kingdom, Prideful Sun Lord, for successfully upgrading his kingdom to the first primary Lord God Kingdom Lord territory of the 10,000 races. Rewards: 10,000 races mythology treasure box, +1. Primary Lord God Kingdom treasure box, +1. Legend degree, +1 million. Myth degree, +10,000. 10,000 races announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, God Lord Blazing Sun. 10,000 races announcement. Congratulations to the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, God Lord Blazing Sun. Zhou Zhou's smile became even more flamboyant as for the myriad races in the heavens. They were shocked again that a Master God tier territory and a beginner grade Master God tier kingdom were born on the same day. And the person who created them was the same person. This achievement was enough to make the myriad worlds remember it for countless years. God Lord Blazing Sun would also become one of the most famous gods and lords in the history of the myriad worlds. The lords and god spirits in the myriad races Lord channel and the myriad races battle channel discussed intensely again. Zhou Zhou did not look at it much this time. He quickly focused on his reward. He opened the mythical tier treasure chest first. In the mythical tier treasure chest, there was a star stone emitting 5-colored light. Zhou Zhou looked over. Race divine artifact name, 5-element star. Equipment grade, top-notch racial divine artifact, temporarily unbound. Race divine artifact ability, star protection, universal race divine artifacts. Under the protection of the star ancestor, the talent of the 5 elemental laws of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth of life forms has increased. Moreover, it can be immune to 30% of the 5 elemental damage. The strength of the 5 elemental attacks released has increased by 30%. Race divine artifact description. The 5-element star is the clan-protecting divine artifact of the star god race. It is regarded as a treasure by the star god race. Later on, this treasure was forcefully snatched away by a supreme god. After many years, it fell into the hands of the common people's regal. Zhou Zhou widened his eyes in shock after reading it. The effect of this 5-element star race divine artifact was actually so heaven-defying. The percentage of immunity to 5 elemental damage was actually as high as 30%. The strength of the 5-element attack had also increased by 30%. In addition, it had also increased the life form's 5-element nomological talent. This effect, even in the Supreme God Realm Monument, there is no race divine artifact with such a strong effect. As expected of the reward for creating the Master God tier kingdom, it is too powerful. Zhou Zhou sighed inwardly. Then, he immediately recognized its will as its master and bound it to the citizens of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. He didn't feel much after binding it. He had countless bloodline talents on him after all, and his immunity to all attributes had long been raised to an extremely high level, coupled with his physique that was infinitely close to a grade 1 supreme sacred body. The augmentation of the 5-element stars was almost non-existent. Therefore, he first returned to the shrine, and then casually got Zero to call over a Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom subject. This subject was a yellow gold tier elementary grade extraordinaire. While this level was very high, it was actually considered the weakest among the citizens of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. Generally speaking, only new subjects who had just joined the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom and began to enjoy the various lord talents and subject benefits of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom could be weaker than him. Zhou asked the other party if he felt anything strange just now. When the other party saw Zhou Zhou, he had a fanatical expression, like the most devout believer. When he heard this, he immediately told Zhou Zhou about his changes. After hearing this, Zhou Zhou used his divine sense to sense the specific changes in the other party's body. Then, he nodded slightly. Fortunately, the racial divine artifact's method of transforming a life form's constitution was very gentle. The subject only felt an invisible warm current suddenly transforming his body. Other than that, there was nothing strange. The other party was not afraid of this kind of modification at all. This was because the old subjects of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom had experienced such things too many times. They would obtain huge benefits every time. Therefore, they were already used to it. Only new subjects would make a fuss over such a good thing. Zhou Zhou chatted with the other party for a while more. After understanding that the current situation in the country was good, he nodded in satisfaction. As his main political avatar, Zhou Managed's actions really made him feel at ease. Then, he got someone to give him some rewards before letting him leave. The other party left the shrine reluctantly. Then, Zhou Zhou opened another beginner-grade Master God tier country treasure chest. After opening it, he saw a golden one-eyed seal lying quietly inside. It was a supreme heart. When Zhou Zhou saw this, he immediately felt bored. That's it? Was this even worthy of being a reward from the Master God tier kingdom? He shook his head and did not mind. He had already gained enough today. He was already very satisfied. Moreover, to be honest, this supreme heart was already a good reward. He had only established a beginner-grade Master God tier kingdom after all. Normally speaking, a Master God tier was the standard powerhouse in a beginner-grade Master God tier kingdom, and a Supreme God was the top powerhouse in a beginner-grade Master God tier kingdom. A supreme heart that could increase the level of Master God tier's will and increase the probability of advancing to Supreme God was a very suitable reward. He had not established a Supreme God-level country or a Supreme Will-level country, so it was naturally impossible for him to reward him with something better in the beginner-grade Master God tier treasure chest. Then, he did not think too much about it. He opened the Divine Kingdom's information panel and checked the requirements to advance to a Master God tier intermediate grade kingdom. Divine Kingdom name: Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom. God Lord Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom level: beginner grade Master God tier kingdom. Divine Kingdom flag: all stars cover the sun. Divine Kingdom army: Blazing Sun army, true God tier advanced grade. Monster army, true God tier advanced grade. Dragon God army, true God tier advanced grade. 10,000 races army, true God tier advanced grade. Heavenly Map army, true God tier advanced grade. Homeland Defense army, true God tier advanced grade. Requirements for advancing to the intermediate grade Master God tier Lord country: Territory level up to the Master God Tier Intermediate Grade. 1,000 Master God Tier Intermediate Divine Crystals. Conquest of 50 high-level divine kingdoms under the Crimson Overlord 0/50. Conquest of 20 high-level divine kingdoms that are not under the Crimson Overlord 0/20. Conquest of any 200 high-level divine kingdom lord factions and possession of their true god advanced grade divine kingdom tokens 0/200. 2 billion independent regional territories. 500,000 divine artifacts of various races. 20 race divine artifacts 2020. 500 races of worship true gods 500/5000. And the strength of an intermediate grade master god tier. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly after reading it. He had met all the other conditions, but he was still not satisfied with upgrading his territory. To the Master God Tier Intermediate Grade, the he is still the number of Chaos Divine treasures. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself. Fortunately, this was not difficult for him to resolve that it just needed some time. Then, he first called Zhou Marshal over and handed the matter of dealing with the time ruins to him. He then led his troops to clean up the time ruins and obtain the Chaos Divine treasure inside. Then, he came to the Gate of Summoning and spent 400 Gai units of basic materials and 1,000 Master God Tier Elementary Grade Divine Crystals to upgrade the Gate of Summoning to the lower level of Master God Tier, and a text notification appeared. Congratulations! Your Gate of Summoning has been successfully upgraded to a Master God Tier Elementary Grade building. You can summon 100 million subjects every day. 10 million professionals will appear among the subjects you summon every day. Prompt. Under the influence of the unique title of the race, Glory of the Pioneer 13, the number of subjects you can summon every day has reached 2,471,551,500. You will summon 10,014 professionals every day. Zhou Zhou nodded after reading it. The basic number of subjects summoned for Master God Tier Elementary Grade Summoning Gate was 185,965,500. After being buffed by the Glory of the Pioneer 13, it directly increased by 13 times, becoming 2,417,551,500 people. Moreover, he could summon 14 Master God Tier Elementary Grade Master Gods every day. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied with this effect in the future. He would be able to freeload 14 clan protecting experts every day. Even though to the current Zhou Zhou, 14 Master Gods were nothing, he was very happy to be able to obtain it for free. Then, he glanced at the requirement to upgrade the Gate of Summoning. Building upgrade. Wood 500 Gai units. Sand 500 Gai units. Metal 500 Gai units. Stone 500 Gai units. Master God Tier Intermediate Grade Divine Crystals 5,000. Territory level upgraded to Master God Tier Intermediate Grade. The upgrade requirement for the Gate of Summoning was still as simple and unadorned as ever. Zhou Zhou retracted his gaze and spent 4 Gai units of basic materials, 10,000 Master God Tier Elementary Crystals, and 10 billion high-grade elemental gems to upgrade the original Dragon Abyss to the Master God Tier Elementary Grade. Building. Name, Original Dragon Abyss. Construction. Level, Master God Tier Elementary. Grade. Construction effect. Every day, you can summon 60 billion extraordinary tier pure-blooded dragons from the original Dragon Abyss. 6 billion epic tier pure-blooded dragons. 6 billion legendary tier pure-blooded dragons. 60,000 true god tier advanced grade dragon gods to become subjects under the Lord. There is a 60% chance of summoning 1 legendary dragon, and a 10% chance of summoning 2 legendary dragons. Note, when all the legendary dragons are summoned, the legendary dragons that can't be summoned again will be replaced by 1,000 true god tier advanced grade dragon gods. Construction upgrade. 5 wood Gai units. 5 sand Gai units. 5 metal Gai units. 5 stone Gai units. 10,000 Master God Tier Intermediate Grade Divine Crystals. 50 billion Advanced Elemental Gemstones. Territory upgraded to Intermediate Grade Master God Tier Country Level Lord Faction. 100 High Lord God Tier Dragon Tribes Offerings. Zhou Zhou looked at the effect of the building and fell into deep thought.